I think this is from our headlines today. This is the Vice President, Dick Cheney.
The president carries the biggest burden, obviously. He's the one who has to make the decision to commit young Americans. But we are fortunate to have a group of men and women, all volunteer force, who voluntarily put on the uniform and go in harm's way for the rest of us.
That was Dick Cheney. Tomas Young, was that the quote you'd like to address?
Absolutely. From one of those soldiers who volunteered to go to Afghanistan after September 11th, which was where the evidence said we needed to go, to the master of the college deferment in Vietnam, the last conflict we didn't go into voluntarily. Many of us volunteered with patriotic feelings in our heart, only to see them subverted and bastardized by the administration and sent into the wrong country. Yes, we volunteered, but we didn't volunteer where you sent us to go. And I realize that we don't choose where we get to go, but we at least should be sent in the right places to defend the Constitution, just as we volunteered to do.
Thomas,
That's all.
I wanted to go to a part of the film, Body of War, which was the White House Correspondents' Dinner of 2005. It's very interesting because you were watching it. It includes President Bush joking around about the missing WMDs, as well as First Lady Laura Bush. This is the clip.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
I said to him the other day, George, if you really want to end tyranny in the world, you're going to have to stay up later. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a desperate housewife.
They're so insulated. They don't want to know about people like Thomas.
How you doing, buddy?
And the 4 or 5% of the population that is actually sacrificing for this war.
That last voice is Tomas Young's mother, Kathy Smith. Tomas Young is shown in the film watching the White House Correspondents' Dinner and hugging his little brother. Thomas, your reaction to the skit?
Well, my reaction is twofold. I'd like to tell Laura Bush that there are probably a couple thousand desperate housewives who are quite missing their husbands and would love to have their husbands there to go to bed early before 9 o'clock. And for the president to be so glib about a lie that he told the American people and my brothers and sisters in arms to get us to go to war so blindly and patriotically for this country, it's offensive to me as a soldier first and as an American second. And now that clip that I was watching was recorded from the year previous, so I had a full year for that wound to fester and boil as far as my anger and resentment at the president making that joke and looking around the Oval Office as if the weapons of mass destruction were under his desk.
Thomas, I wanted to go to, well, near the end of the film, when you meet Democratic Senator Robert Byrd of West Virginia. We've been playing his impassioned speeches on the floor of the Senate, which figure prominently in the film. In this clip, Senator Byrd proudly reads to you the names of all the 23 senators who voted against authorizing the invasion of Iraq.
Now I'm going to read you the names of these.
The immortal 23?
The immortal 23. All right, here we are. HJ Res 114. That's the resolution.
Senators voting in the negative.
Here are the 23. Akaka.
Mr. Akaka, no.
Bingaman.
Mr. Bingaman, no.
Boxer.
Mrs. Boxer, no.
Byrd. B-Y-R-D, right there.
Mr. Byrd, no.
Chafee. Republican.
He's a good man.
Mr. Chafee, no.
He stood with us. Conrad.
Mr. Conrad, no.
What's that one?
Look like John Corzine.
Corzine, yes.
Mr. Corzine, no.
I don't have my glasses on. What's that one there?
Dayton.
Dayton, yeah. God bless him. He's leaving us after this year.
Mr. Dayton, no.
Who's that?
That's Senator Durbin.
Durbin? This one?
Senator Feingold.
Feingold?
That'd be Bob Graham from Florida, I think, Senator.
Yes, it would be.
Mr. Durbin, no. Mr. Feingold, no. Mr. Graham of Florida, no.
We go all the way down here to Daniel Inouye.
Mr. Inouye,
Yeah, there's a man who has really sacrificed. He gave his arm.
From Hawaii, yeah.
no.
Yes, sir. He's a real hero.
That's another one of my heroes, Jim
Jeffords.
Senator Jeffords.
Yeah,
Switch sides of the aisle.
he's one of my heroes, too.
Mr. Jeffords, no.
Kennedy. Leahy and Levin.
Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Leahy, Mr. Levin, no.
McCoskey.
Ms. Mikulski, no.
Murray.
Mrs. Murray,
Hattie Murray.
no.
Reed from Rhode Island. Sarbanes.
Mr. Reed of Rhode Island, no. Mr. Sarbanes, no.
Stabenow.
Yeah, Debbie Stabenow.
Miss Stabenow, no.
Wellstone, that's the man who gave his life shortly thereafter.
And then Wyden.
And Wyden, he's still here.
Mr. Wellstone, no. Mr. Wyden, no.
23. 77 to 23. The immortal 23. Our founders would be so proud. Thank you for your service. Man, you've made a great sacrifice. You've served your country well.
As of you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Senator Robert Byrd meeting Tomas Young in his Senate office. Thomas, what was that moment like?
Oh, well, meeting Robert Byrd was it was an amazing experience. After only talking to her for a couple of minutes, I found myself wanting to ask him to be an adoptive grandfather to me. He's truly a... I mean, when you look at the fact that the day he fell in front of his house, he went in and cast a vote on the Senate floor, then went back to his office, and only went to the hospital when his aides told him he didn't look so well. So it kind of makes you think twice about calling into work when you have an upset stomach.
Thomas, I haven't even given you a chance yet to say hi to Phil Donahue, who's here in our Firehouse studio in New York. Tomas Young in Kansas City. Phil.
Thomas.
Yeah, I heard you were there. I was wondering if I was going to get a chance to say hi.
Well, you're doing real well without me, Thomas, as always. I mean, this is a hugely powerful anti-war voice here. People just, I'm telling you, he speaks and nobody talks. I mean, you can hear a pin drop. It's wonderful how he's exploiting his own. He has the power for the wrong reason, to be sure. And we can walk, and all of us have to remember that. And but, you know, he wheels out on that stage and people just fall silent and listen to every word. It's wonderful to see.
In fact, you're going to be showing this film in Washington next week. Thomas, will you be there?
Absolutely. I have a screening on April 2nd with Robert Byrd and some other invited guests, and then I'll be there for the opening on April 4th.
That is true, and we also open in New York on April 9th. Landmark Theaters, our home for the next several weeks. We go to Boston from New York and then San Francisco. We're going to do L.A., Chicago, and we think we've got something here that will really move the American people. I mean, this is a story of a family, and Ellen did such a fabulous job on the filming. We can't wait for you to see it.
Speaking of family, I wanted to play a last clip, play a little part of it.